Well, hello everybody. I'm John. This is the Midnight Paint and Body channel. On this video, we are going to finish the 77 F250 project. That's the wrong side. Oh my god. That's definitely not going to fit. You guys didn't tell me I had the wrong one. Probably did. Probably screaming at the camera. TV, phone. This is the first time I fit one of these bedsides since putting the end pieces on. Well, moving on a little bit here with the Ford box. So I've got this bedside sitting in place. Now I've gone around just with some self-tapping screws. Now this is going to be plug welded in all these spots where the screws are. So as I go around, I'll just pull out a screw, drill that hole on the outside a little bigger, and then weld it. So we'll go around doing that. The same on this inside lip. This just needs to be clamped tight, which it is tight up against that inner for the most part. So I will just go along here and drill, clamp, and weld. So I'm going to be welding to this flange here. Normally I would have taken my hole punch and punched all these holes first. But in this case, I just didn't want to take this bedside back off because it was, a little bit of a bugger to get around the corners and get on there. So I've done the same here. I've got everything where I want it to live. So held in place with self-tappers. Yeah, same idea. I will drill, weld, and pull these out one at a time and just, drill them and weld them. And then our wheelhouse. So I've gone and got these braces off the old box. These will still need to be sandblasted, cleaned up and painted nice, but they're just on there for fitting. And then this inner wheelhouse, that needs to be clamped in a little tighter, but you can see, so that'll be the same thing. I'll punch some holes in this thing for plug welds, and then once the bedside's tacked in place, this is going to be exactly where it lives. And I'll weld it to this inner, and I'll punch holes around this lip as well and weld it to that. So that is straightforward stuff there. So I'm going to move on to doing some welding on this thing. I'm going to kind of take my time. I'm not going to solid weld everything. I'll just probably tack the front, tack the back, keep moving around. I want to make sure this is exactly where I want it to be, but I don't really have any concerns at this point. I have done these Ford trucks before. They have this gap, and I remember this from before, in between these panels, and they all have this. I'm not really sure why they're designed that way, but what I've done with these in the past when putting new bedsides on is just seam seal that once it's all welded, because I will be welding here and here, both sides. So this is all going to be super solid. So, drilling and welding. I'm going to get going on that. Probably won't record a whole bunch of it. It's just drilling holes and welding them up. So I'll bring you guys back as we make progress. So I just need to do that about 100 times on this bedside, and then we'll have another look. So here we are, all plug welded. One bedside is welded on. So as you can see, I just drilled and welded all the way along. So we're welded along here, and of course all the way down the back. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. So you can see I'm welded on both panels, so this inner panel and this bulkhead. So, and yeah, I'm kind of realizing that, you know, I honestly thought pre-painting all this inner stuff would be beneficial, but yeah, I'm going to be burning so much of it. You know, that's not a big deal, but I'm going to be burning on that wheelhouse as well. So yeah, not a big deal. I will give the whole inside of the bed a fresh coat of paint, so it'll be all nice. But this guy's all welded up. I'm going to go around and just clean off a few of these welds, and then we'll move on to this wheelhouse. So here we are, one side all welded on. So welds along the back, which I've just kind of cleaned up. Same thing along our upper rail. Now this is where I've plug welded that inner panel, so unfortunately I had to burn up the paint on the outside, but not a big deal. And then where we've welded along the front, all of our welds down here, and of course our wheelhouse now welded into place as well. So I think probably what I will do with this, once I get a little primer on this bare metal, I think I'll run a bead of seam sealer through there, or maybe not. It didn't have it in the factory. I went out and looked at the original box. So this piece doesn't fit real nice up in there, but I don't think it's really meant to fit tight, to be honest. But we've got it tight where I've got it welded, so there we are. So that is one side welded up, and now prepping this for paint. Not a huge big deal because it's a new panel, so it's not like messing with old junk. So pretty close to the end of the day. In the morning, I'll get that other side welded on there. And then maybe get this box painted this week. It's Wednesday today, and don't tell anyone, but I might take Friday off. We'll see. And there's our other bedside welded in place. So, everything looks good, so you can see our gaps look really nice. These tailgates never sit perfectly centered. They do float around a little bit on the pivots. The gaps this way are nice. That, of course, is all adjustable. You can move those strikers in or out, whatever you need to do. But I'm happy with that. So that is one more hurdle overcome. The box is all in one piece. So I'm going to go on to, what I'm going to do now is just give a really quick sand to the whole inside of this box, and putty up a couple of little spots on these welds just to smooth them out nicely. And then hopefully, maybe tomorrow, we'll give this inside of this box a fresh coat of paint over the whole thing, so it's going to look real nice. We'll see. I don't know if I'll have to prime these bedsides or if I'll just sand and seal and paint, which might be okay on these. So, I'll keep you guys in the loop, figure out what I'm going to do next. Well, good morning. Happy Friday. So yesterday I kind of finished up the inside of our F250 pickup box. So I went ahead and just put a bead of seam sealer down the seams, along those front seams. It was kind of dark up there. And yeah, just a little bit around the back. So I am basically ready to give this thing some fresh paint on the inside. So all I'm really going to do is mask up lightly these outside bedsides. They still need to be prepped, so a little overspray doesn't matter. These upper parts where I've got some bare metal, I'm just going to do a light coat of epoxy primer just over this part, and then a couple of coats of single stage paint on the inside of the box. So I think all I have to do at this point is wash it down with some wax and grease remover and suit up and mix some paint. If you've ever painted the inside of a pickup box, then you know it sucks. They're a real pain in the ass. Usually end up having to climb in and then work your way out, and yeah, they're kind of the shit. I had to put this one down as low as I could get it, actually hoping I could maybe paint it from outside, but I don't think I'm gonna have the reach to get the whole inside from the outside. I'll see what I can do. I'll bring you guys along once I'm ready to put some paint on here. Well, hello everyone. We're back on the Ford. I don't remember where we left off. I know we welded on the box sides, painted the inside. It's actually been quite a while since I've recorded on this. I have been so busy. I actually just got back from a couple days at the Rust Bros shop. So there should be some YouTube of that. If it was before this, it might be after this, I don't know. It'll be on their YouTube as well. But yeah, back on the F250. We need to get this truck done. So, like I said, I believe we left off with painting the inside. I guess I could have looked back at my footage because I know I started the video on this. But we're going to continue on. We're going to get this box prepped up and painted. Hopefully the tailgate as well. You can see I've got the hood sanded again. Now everything turned out really nice on this truck, but I noticed when this hood was in the open door with the sun hitting it, it was a little bit tiger striped with the metallics, and I just wasn't 100% happy with it, so give it a quick sand. So we'll paint it with the box or something, or whatever we end up doing. So this is just sanding. That is boring. So I'm going to do a bunch of prepping, and I'll kind of bring you guys back periodically to see where it's at and what we're doing. Tuesday today, we might actually get some of this stuff. Well, we'll probably get it to the point where it's in the booth, maybe ready to paint for morning, something like that. But I'll bring you guys along as we move along. Morning, everyone. It is the next day. I have got the box and the tailgate ready for some sealer and paint. So my next step here, I'm going to put a little epoxy primer just over these bare metal spots, and then everything will get a full coat of urethane sealer. We'll let that sit for a while, and then I'll be ready to start painting. Yeah, I just want to start getting my first couple of coats on here, because I think I'm going to have to run and pick up some supplies. So if I can get to where I've got sealer on here, I can run to town. That'll give it plenty of time to sit and cure, and then I'll come right back and start painting. So we'll bring you guys back, probably for the paint. Spray and sealer is just what it is, but maybe I'll turn the camera on while I'm laying some paint and clear on here. All right, so I have put some epoxy primer over any bare metal, and then a nice full coat of urethane sealer on everything, the tailgate and the whole box. So we're ready to start spraying. So this is probably going to take 4 coats of base. This color doesn't cover great. And as I found out, I think I mentioned earlier, the hood, I think if I had put 1 more coat of paint on the hood, it would have been okay. But in the sun, I was seeing just some really faint tiger striping, we call it in the trade, where it's just not completely covered. So I'm going to go ahead and start spraying. I've got paint in the gun, we're ready to go. The fly landed on it already. Get off there. Got rid of him. Alright, well I'm going to keep going around this thing. Let it set up for 10 minutes and then hit it again. And like I said, probably 4 coats. I'll bring you guys back when we're ready for clear coat. Well, I'm all done spraying base. We are basically ready for clear coat. So this is 4 coats of base coat. I use the PPG shop line system, so that's the brand base if anyone's wondering. And we appear to have good coverage everywhere. Definitely a good idea to go around with a bright light to make sure you don't see any striping or light spots or anywhere where you don't have proper coverage, but I am pretty confident with the amount of base I piled on this thing. So I'm ready to go mix up some clear coat, and we will give it 2 coats for sure. I usually make a decision if it's going on clean, it's going on good, 2 coats is good. I find if I start getting a few dust nibs and stuff where I know I'm going to be doing some polishing, I will give it a 3rd coat of clear to give it that little extra for sanding and polishing. But yeah, I'm going to go mix up some clear, and we'll be spraying in just a minute. all cleared up. The booth is all cleared out. And there she is, our painted box. A few dust specks down this side. Nothing major, a little bit of sand and polish. The passenger side's actually a lot cleaner. It looks really, really good. There's our tailgate. And this, if you remember, this is actually the original tailgate for the truck. It's completely sandblasted. It had a couple of small little dings in it, but that was it. So the tailgate was pretty amazing. There's our tailgate handle. So I'm going to let this sit overnight. In the morning we can move it out and yeah, see what we're going to start working on next. I've got a few more things to paint, hood and the flares, but we're pretty much ready to start doing assembly on this thing. So see you guys tomorrow. There's another little check-in, guys. Fender flares are all prepped up and ready to paint. So I decided just to put a thin texture, a thin rock guard along the inside of them where they will take a little bit of abuse, I guess. But other than that, those are ready for coat of sealer and paint. The hood, as I mentioned earlier, I just wanted to get another coat of paint, a few more coats to clear on it. I was not quite happy with it. It had a little bit of metallic striping when the sun was on it. It wasn't terrible by any means, but in just the right light I could pick it up, so I just didn't want to risk leaving that. And then the tailgate, which I painted with the box. Even though I had it hanging, I'm still, you know, this color is super transparent, so it's caused me a little bit of grief. But you can see I was just a little thin on coverage along the bottom, so that's not a big deal. I'll just, since I'm painting anyway, we'll blow a couple more coats of paint, a little more clear on there as well. So I'm going to get spraying. And then in between, hopefully we'll get back out in the shop and work on a little bit of assembly. Well, good morning again. It's actually Monday today. Happy Thanksgiving. It's the Thanksgiving Day holiday today. So last week, I finished up the day. I started getting some chrome on the Ford. So, got our first few bits of trim on. Don't want to give away too much, so we can hopefully have a nice reveal at the end. So, I've just been kind of continuing on. With bits and pieces. And of course, like anything, when you took it apart a long time ago, you always have to check twice before plugging things in. And stuff like this, like door locks and stuff, when you've added a lot of paint and primer and stuff to a vehicle, be extra careful. It changes your tolerances a bit sometimes. But these old vehicles are all pretty straightforward, usually. Especially when you've worked on as many as I have. Ooh, we're getting to that time of year where we're getting the heat on again. I love this radiant heat in here, except for when it's first warming the shop up in the morning, because it seems like it goes to 5 million before it settles into a room temperature kind of thing. maybe not 5 million. Someone gave me crap in the comments once for exaggerating. I said I'd done rockers 1 million times. Obviously, I haven't done 1 million. 900,000 maybe. So I'm going to give you guys one more little sneak peek of this cab before I move back onto the box. I've got the one flare on, so this side is pretty much all together. Fender liner is in and the flare is on, so this is kind of the focal point of this truck in my opinion. I absolutely love these flares on this thing, and the owner of the truck does too. That's why we put a lot of work into saving them. So, let me know what you guys think, if you like them. I mean, I'm not big on these a lot of the time on newer trucks. Actually, personally, I just don't like the ones with the bolt holes. You can get these kind of smooth ones for the modern trucks as well that I like a lot better. Just personal preference, but anyway, I think those look killer on there. So, things are moving along, getting close to the end of the day Monday here, so I am just going to continue on, probably going to get finished to this point on the other side, and we can get the grill put in, and then I can get back over onto the box. And actually the customer, well, he's an old glass guy, so he is coming to install the front and back glass on Wednesday. So maybe tomorrow being Tuesday, I'll do a quick sand and polish on the hood. And it's dark in here, but you saw it when I painted it anyway. It doesn't need much. It came out pretty darn nice. So yeah, some dust nibs and a quick sand, and I'll polish it up. And then maybe while he is here on Wednesday, I can get him to help me put the hood on his own truck, because I always need to find a helper for these, especially on these. These have got to be the heaviest hood of any vehicle. I think they're even heavier than like a Lincoln hood, when those 7-foot long ones. There's a lot of steel in these things. So anyway, I'm gonna continue on. And oh yeah, I didn't do much on the inside. You don't see that, but I spent quite a while degreasing and scrubbing these liners, and they came up really nice, other than that they've been oversprayed at some point. I chose just to put them in, and then I'll see if it'll wash off with some thinner. I don't expect it will, but I'll probably just dust it with some black paint. That's all you can really do. But other than that, the liners came up pretty nice. So anyway, back to work. I'll bring you guys back when we're on to the next step. Well, we're a little bit into the next day here, guys. You might see this and go, hey, didn't you have that liner and flare all assembled? Why, yes, I did. And then I remembered these grills on these trucks have 4 bolts down each side that you have to get that way, and you can't get to with the liner in. So, not a big deal. Just one of those things where I don't work on enough of these trucks to remember everything. I think I just got excited wanting to slap the flares on there to see how they looked, and forgot about that. So anyway, just a few screws, pulled it back off. I got all the bolts in. So I'm gonna just get the front bumper in place. And then the other thing is, here's a nice painted flare, here's a nice painted hood. Another nice painted flare. With a fresh repair on it. So you remember one flare was snapped right off. It was this one. it was right there. I built up the inside nicely like I did on all of it. I didn't put any reinforcement on the outside, this just kind of plastic drywall tape that I use. I just puttied the outside with the plastic repair filler. Well, when I was kind of flexing it on there, getting attached to the truck, this crack showed up again. It wasn't cracked, it was still solid, but because I didn't reinforce the outside, I think just that, it just kind of cracked through the paint, so I had to fix it. So quick repair, I'm just going to blow a little primer on that, and then I'll get back to assembly. Minor setback, I'll have this repainted today. And like I've kind of said in my videos before, a lot of this kind of stuff, guys, so these jobs are purely hourly. You can't give someone a price on a job like this. You can give them a ballpark, but then it has to resort to the hourly shop rate. So that's what it is. But when I've got stuff like that, I cracked the flare, I'm redoing the flare, I am not billing the customer those hours, just in case anyone's wondering. That's just the way I do things. If I have to redo something because I screwed up, customer shouldn't have to pay for it. So, just one of those things when you do auto body. So I'm going to continue on. I've got the grill in, so now I can put this side back together, I can put that liner in. I just won't be able to put that flare back on until probably tomorrow. And tomorrow, customers also come and put the glass in. So anyway, we'll see you guys back here in a bit. Getting close to the end of the day again, so I thought we would do another quick check-in. So yes, the flares and liners are back on and the grill is installed. I have got the tailgate assembled, all the chrome on, I've cleaned up the latches, got those in. I haven't polished the hood yet, that was my goal for today, but I never got to it. I'll do it in the morning. So I want to have it ready for when I have help here tomorrow to put it on. But now the one stupid thing that I've run into, so when I ordered these drip rail moldings, I have ordered drip rail moldings in my life many times. I ordered what I thought was drip rail moldings. Apparently what I ordered was a right drip rail molding. I've never seen them sold single for anything I've ever worked on. So, I mean, that was a while back. I got that, so I just installed that like yesterday or whenever I did it. So yeah, went to install them, realized I had only one. Contacted the people I bought it from, as they said, yeah, they're sold singly. So I was like, okay, well, I need the other side, so could you send me that? So another almost $200 frickin' by the time I get the part and the shipping and all of that BS for a little piece of tin. Well, I got this a couple of weeks ago. I didn't bother to open it because I just keep it safe in the box until I need it. They sent me another right. So now I need to get hold of them and tell me to send a freaking left. Will I get refunded for this one, or am I going to be out another $200? I don't know, but just ridiculous money for those things. And then wrong parts. But it's one of those things. At least if it comes down to it, I can finish this truck and I can get him back in the spring or whatever and just pop that other molding on if I can't get it right away. But I mean, that one took a few weeks to get, and I was hoping to have this out in the next few days. So anyway, that's the end of the day. Again, onto the box tomorrow. Hopefully I can get all the chrome, all the trim, flares, everything onto the box, and then just a matter of getting it onto the truck. So see you guys tomorrow. Well, it's Friday morning. So I got the box on yesterday. Turned into a little extra work, a little more than I was expecting, because like I showed you, there was a few issues with the fit to the frame. It wasn't a huge big deal, but it was just a bit of a setback. So it's on. So I've gotten it on, I've got the tailgate on. So I'm gonna continue with some assembly. I've got not a lot left to do. Now today was the day I had planned on having this truck finished. I don't think it's going to be quite done, but it's going to be really damn close. But that's okay. I'll just be working on the weekend again. It happens. So, yeah, I've got another job coming in next week, so I kind of need to get this one back to the customer. So I'm just going to carry on with my assembly. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say, it's Friday. That means this video is probably late, because I usually try and have them out for Fridays, but that's all right too. But yeah, I'm going to keep moving ahead. Not a whole lot left to do. I've got to put the roll bar back in, taillight wiring, taillights, a few nuts and bolts here and there. So I think that the next time you guys see this, it will be done and ready to go home. Well, here she is, guys. Oh, hold on. Here he is. George. I did it again. I called George a she. I guess in this day and age, it doesn't matter, right? Anyway, guys, it is basically done. Not quite complete. I've still got a little bit of detailing and polishing to do. A few minor adjustments here and there. But it is Sunday today. I'm still trying to get this thing done because I've got a new job coming in next week. And I just wanted to get this video done. So, again, I absolutely love this truck. This thing is so darn cool. And you know, something I've mentioned before in my channel. I mean, I am no top of the line expert, guys. I'm just an average dude that does body work. I just share what I do. You know, I work in a dirty old truck shop, and I paint in a dirty old homemade paint booth, but I try really, really hard to make things as nice as I possibly can with what I have. I mean, at the end of the day, my customers pay me their hard-earned money to do this stuff. But something else is really cool. I mean, I've been in this trade a really long time, always in the same small town where I live in British Columbia. So I've had the opportunity now, I think this is the third one, where I've got to redo one of these vehicles that I have known for many, many years. Now, I've known George and his owner probably since I got into this trade. So I was, you know, probably since I was 17. So that's a long time. So it really is a privilege to get to rebuild some of these old vehicles, especially when, you know, there's a bit of a connection because, you know, like I say, I've known this truck forever and I've always thought it was super cool. So yeah, what a cool thing to get to do this. And as always, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching the videos. The channel just keeps on growing and it's awesome. I'm super, super happy about that. I'm making a couple of $100 a month off YouTube, and I appreciate that because every little bit helps when you're self-employed. Yeah, so all of you who subscribe and comment and like and share the videos, thank you. If you haven't, just, you know, take a second, just push subscribe. It's free. I appreciate it, guys. As always, I hope you come back and check out the next one.